Welcome to the Gransberry Chronicles Weekly Pick'em. I'm your girl, the Gransberry, and it's week 14. We about to get going with all the crew tonight. I got my boy, Coach B Pat, down on the left, and I got my boy D Jones down on the right.
What's popping?
Okay, then, what's up, guys? We're hot off a new win. What's up?
Yeah. We chilling. We chilling.
We
So,
chilling. We jumping in the air like Jimmy Wood.
oh, okay, then.
Okay.
I didn't know that's where you was going with that, but
Okay.
let's do a little housekeeping first. If you're going to use the blurred screen, you can't raise your hands in the back because then it looks like you half erased your hands. It looks like you got one good hand and one you drew on. It's not meant for heavy movement.
It's that flash hand. It's like you move
Right.
so
But
fast.
shout
you
out
blurred.
to Stingley for being AFC Defensive Player of the Week.
So
And we have to give a little time to the local team. It's only fair. There were so many highlights of great plays that it really was hard to pick a player of the game. And, I kind of believe that the NFL picked Stingley because he's had a remarkable 3 weeks. I don't really think he was picked as player of the week. I just think he capped off another good week. And it was just kind of like icing. And not saying that, two interceptions is
that
not
ain't
great in one game.
that's not an easy feat though.
Correct. But I'm saying when you have 2 sacks, like Will, and you have tackles for loss, quarterback hits, there was so much to weigh in the game that most definitely. And I mean, it was some amazing interceptions at that. It wasn't just, gimme balls, where the quarterback is like, man, I shouldn't have thrown that. So either way, I'm happy with that. I think we all picked the Texans to win. And, I'm a little exhausted with winning within the last 5 minutes or losing within the last 5 minutes.
The last
It was it 9 weeks in a row now?
It's
Eight.
Yeah.
8. And we really haven't put a team away since the Steelers.
Honestly, since Pittsburgh.
We should have put that team away.
Should
Fumbled
have,
in
would have,
count.
could have.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna get into the shouldas. I'm just saying overall, I really, hope we can get to the point where we can start to feel like it's a little bit more of a cruise control with a few minutes left in the game and we're not on the hot seat for every play. I will say being present for all of the endings at the home games has been an emotional roller coaster of a year. I will say that. I mean, literally like thinking, okay, the game will eventually be over if we could just get this play on Sunday was quite hilarious to the point of like, wait, did that just happen?
Like Jesus.
Another great car decompress, as we say when we're trying to get out the parking lot. But anyway, this has been an interesting season for quarterbacks. We have used more names in the quarterback world than we normally do at this point in the season. And, years ago, I used to talk about this. I used to say that I felt like there wasn't enough energy put into the backup quarterback, because there was such a huge drop off when you lose a quarterback that I felt like if the business of football is making money, that's the reason these teams are owned by people running it as a business, that, the goal would be to get more closely aligned backups to your starters so that you can have an A and maybe a B plus, right? But not so much So, I mean, obviously, it's a unique skill, right? You know, what we've talked about is running back seems to be the easier of the plug and play of positions across the board, given. And I don't want to discount someone's ability at QB. That's You have quarterbacks who may be great at RPOs. You have quarterbacks who may be great at staying in the pocket. And then you're going to have always your uniqueness of like a Lamar, right? So the thing about it is you should be able to find something closely aligned with what you buy in with your team. So if you have a newer quarterback, that's different, right? Your goal may be a backup veteran who can guide, instruct, whatever. But it's to the point that I think it should be re-looked at because it's a business. And when you get to the point where nobody wants to support the business because you feel like, oh, well, we got your season ticket money. Oh, well, these games are paid for. You have to give people something to hope for, right? We are a people of hope. We do turn to sports for enjoyment. And when your value becomes diminished in finding enjoyment in the whole idea of watching the game, because there's two backup starters, then we have to look at it. When we just did pre-production, we talked about, well, who's starting in some of these games? And it affects how you look at it. So those fan bases, I think we've been in enough seesaw moments with quarterbacks that we can understand. I mean, we went through 8 in one season, right? With injuries and different things. Was it 8 or 6? I know I definitely know it was more than 4.
I don't even remember. I don't remember how we lost count.
Yeah, I mean, especially like I said, it was during one season, so we were just railing through them. But my point is, I just would be interested to see if teams will start to look at it a little bit better. You know,
I think it's an interesting topic, but I think it's difficult, right? I think I totally get where you're coming from the business standpoint of of the ball and the fan standpoint. But even if we had all the starters in, there's teams where they're lacking quarterbacks, right? So I think you rarely see a team with two decent quarterbacks, right? Because if the backup feel like they can play well, then the backup is going to probably look for seek an opportunity elsewhere, right? So, or a place where they can start. So it becomes a really difficult thing. And then we're not even talking about, the economic investment that will go into trying to keep two quarterbacks of that particular skill set. I think it may be easier, say like in Houston's standpoint, in the Texans standpoint, where Davis Mills is drafted. He's behind CJ. We don't trust Davis Mills to lead us over a season, but I think he could win a game or two. You know what I'm saying? He can come in and at least be a serviceable backup. Like we've never thought that he was trash, as you guys would say, as a quarterback. We just didn't think that he was the guy to lead this team. We didn't trust him to lead this team as far as week in and week out. So I think that's what most of those GMs and those organizations are looking for. Can the backup keep us afloat? They not thinking about season ending injuries. It's just, can he win a game or two if he needs to do that for us? So
right. So maybe you change the scope of what you were looking for, right?
Yeah, that's why I say very interesting.
Just maybe before it's been a game or two because you might have a sprain, or a couple of plays, like when they pull CJ out to do a concussion protocol check, right?
Yeah.
But in a season where we've seen an extensive amount of quarterbacks go down, yeah, I would definitely see that another way.
And that it's funny because I think that was the point. I don't know if you've been seeing the clip from David Carr talking about Philly should put in Mariota over Jalen because Jalen's not able to. He said read the defenses right now, but I think it was from him implying that he may be a little bit hurt, so they may need to go to him. I didn't take it that he meant long term because they said for a couple of games. So but you got a guy like Jalen that's a strong-willed person, MVP candidate. It goes to our question: Are you injured or are you hurt? If he feel like he just hurt, he can play hurt. He's gonna always go out there and give it what he got. But if you had a quarterback that could win you a game or two, then you got that question, and then it becomes a little bit different. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a great topic though. It's a great topic to kind of ponder and talk about.
Well, my man Gonzalez, he asked, did we see the comments, the video with Levi and Hop? And personally, it's a division opponent, but in general, I just think it's football. I just think is how you view it. We don't know what the topic was, right? I mean, people who were watching the game, obviously we weren't watching the game. We were trying to watch our own game.
Hop look unbothered.
And he should, as the type of vet that he is, he should.
And the young guy
almost like he said, okay.
It's like you said, we don't know what the topic was. It could have been one of those things where you right, young fella, and that's how.
There's nothing else to say.
Nothing to say, yeah, So
I don't read too much into it. But another question that with the AFC South is whether or not Lawrence will be out. Funny thing, Gonzalez, I don't really look at Lawrence being out as a break for Houston. I feel like right now in this moment, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because we talk about this week to week and we look at the schedule. And so I'm a little bit more in tune with the AFC South schedule overall as matchup wise. And so right now in 6, 7, 8, 2 of those teams have to keep playing each other. So it's going to shift automatically. Like it's no way that everybody will stay in those exact positions. Meaning we still have to play the Browns, right? And the Steelers still have to play the Colts. And the Colts and then the Browns still have to play the Steelers.
They got the Steelers again.
Yeah. So at some point, it's going to shift. So our job is to do our job. The Texans' job is to play the schedule in front of them because it'll shake itself out. I would be a little bit more concerned about it or argue it's a better break if you weren't necessarily left playing the teams who are right in front of you. You still need to win, but knowing that those teams have to play each other, somebody has to take an L.
I think the break comes when you talk about the division, but I don't know if him being hurt was the break that they needed more so than them losing that game. Them losing that game to Cincinnati, and if he hadn't got hurt, we don't know if they still would have lost because they was in that game. They was back and forth.
Right. So I mean, their backup still drove downfield and got them into a position to go to overtime.
Right.
So I mean, they were down with him in the game.
Yeah. They still lost it. So them losing that game puts the division back within reach, or it puts us back in play to be competitive for the division. But we never want to see a guy get hurt, but
he did say that Indy is still a factor in it. Indy beat us the first time. Then Indy,
correct,
beat
right. But that was just my point. We still have Indy.
It's one of those scenarios that any given Sunday something is bound to happen. With that, like you said, Lawrence is hurt. I mean, what you call it, AR is out for the Colts, and they're back in the division and winning close games. And then we still got to play Tennessee twice. So,
well, no, but in a bigger connection is kind of what I was driving at, though. The last 3 spots with us being on the out, right? Because we're at 8. The cutoff is definitely 7, 6, 7, and 8. Somebody has to play each other. So that makes a big difference when you're trying to figure out where you stand. We still need to play the Colts. Cincy still need to play the Colts. Cincy still needs to play the Colts. We still need to play the Browns. So I'm saying the teams that are in those positions still need to play each other. So it's impossible that something won't shift. Which way it shifts is up. But hey, I'm up for it. But that's my exciting part about week 14, except one more thing. I think it's pretty much over that the Dolphins are going to keep my first place vote for touchdown celebrations.
I told you that though.
Yeah,
I mean,
that wasn't gonna change.
I mean, I didn't really think they could, outdo the last one. I mean, a handstand is still tough, but when you have multiple people that have to get in sync and look like unity in the pace of the game, the roller coaster ride was just pure. I thought of synchronized swimming. that was my thought, because and then when you see the video about the preparation, how it came into play, to, like I said, to execute that live in the game and give it your all. They didn't just sit down and just, whatever. The whole hands up with the seatbelt. I just love it. So
the details to put the seatbelt on though,
it kills it.
That did, but it's still
when I saw that on the game board at the game, the scoreboard at the game, I was cracking up.
Oh, I missed that one. What happened? Oh, wait. I think I seen a replay, Gonzalez, of the Bengals. I did see.
I think I remember the coordination of the dance, and they had a big
coordination of a dance.
Yeah, and they had the big man in there, so I did see that one, and that one was definitely dope. But it's up there. It's up there, but
it's probably in third behind the two Miamis.
No, it ain't third.
What you got in fourth?
It ain't third for me. Yeah, it's top five, but
you got OBJ still in there with the Baltimore.
No, he's not top three. He probably ain't because that wouldn't. He didn't do enough of it.
Okay.
I still give Armand Saint. I always mess that dude name up in Detroit when he did the step glide. I still give him credit for that. That's still dope. Yeah, that's still dope.
What are you playing with? Whipped cream in a can?
He said whipped cream. Oh,
I was looking at the actual touchdown dance that he talking about.
Here we go.
Oh, my bad.
Whipped cream in the can. Where you get that from?
I don't know.
Okay,
that's what it sounds like to me. Whoa. Sorry.
Whoa
hey, my bad. It's not whipped cream in the can. Okay, look, we're gonna let you get our week 14 games out the way. I wasn't sure, so go with that week 14. Oh, she said sound like flushing the toilet. All I know is it didn't sound like what you said it was.
What sound effects you got working over there, bro?
Oh, Big Sexy. All right, Big Sexy. You got to chill out with the noise, man. And we're going to let Derek get the move him out the way games in, because Oville said we need to move on, please.
Please. All right. So this is our week 14, get them out the way picks. I think for the most part, we in, there's probably a couple solo dolos. We all picked Pittsburgh to beat New England. Atlanta to beat Tampa Bay, Detroit over Chicago. We got a solo dolo with Gransberry picking Indy over Cincy. And we all picked New Orleans to beat Carolina, Baltimore to beat the Rams, Vegas to beat Minnesota, the 49ers to beat Seattle. Gransberry with another solo picking Denver over the Chargers. And then we all picked Miami over Tennessee and Green Bay back in the playoff hunt to take out the Giants. Those are all out the way, so we can get to the ones that.
Okay, first game up is Jags versus the Browns. This goes right into our talk about whether or not Trevor is starting on Sunday. I don't think there's been any decision or discussion openly yet about that. I'm sure anything that leads to him only being hurt versus injured, he will be under center. It's kind of. I think if they had won that game and he was hurt, that they probably would have rested him this week. But with things being so tight, they may feel the need to still try to play if he can play. Obviously, you're not going to try to injure your quarterback further, but a high ankle sprain is one of them where you might want to take a shot, wrap it up, and get out there if you can. And if it don't work, be ready to go. I'm not here to say he should or shouldn't. That's not my point. I'm just saying that, you was one win away from leading the AFC in the rankings, before, with that loss on the line. So I understand. But this is one of the things I was speaking of about the teams in front of us still have to play each other. So we benefit from this game. We do our job over in our own game. We benefit from this
Yeah.
game regardless of who wins, right? We benefit from this game if the Jags lose. We benefit from this game if the Browns lose. We benefit more if the Browns lose, though, because they're in front of us. So and it'll help with the ties. But at the end of the day, right now, because I don't know who's starting, they haven't even said who's starting for Cleveland. We don't know if it's DTR or if it's Flacco. It's hard for me to pick. So I guess I'll lead with it based on what quarterback. I think if Flacco starts, the Browns can win. That's my take. So anything different it would be so many scenarios. So since that may be the closest one, I would just say if Flacco's starting, I'm gonna pick the Browns. I mean, I trust his leadership. They got enough run game to space it out enough. And I think he could get a win with this team railing. Because what we're not really discussing, or that people probably aren't aware of because they don't focus so much on the AFC South, is that there were several other key injuries, for the Jags. They lost a receiver. They have some tackle injuries. I think they had a corner injury. They had about 5 injuries. Now, injury versus hurt is different, but they going into week 14 a little bit more banged up than they were prior to the game on Monday. D. Jones?
Yeah, just kind of piggyback off that. I know Kurt is out for pretty much the rest of the regular season, and he wouldn't even be back until late in the playoffs if they were still in it. So that's a big blow for them. I went on this one. I just took the home team, to be honest. I went home team on here, and I also factored in Cleveland's defense. And if Lawrence is able to play in this game, and if he, depending on how he's looking pregame, I just don't see it how he was barely, able to walk at the end of that game. I think they still have a little leeway to kind of say, do what you said, give him sit him in 1 week. Even if they was to lose this game, they still in good shape within the division and within the playoff hunt. So I think it makes sense not to rush him. They don't have to rush him this week. So this will be a good week to sit him. So I'm gonna go with home team here and say Cleveland wins this game. What you say, Coach?
I was just about to say the home team with that, and then Cleveland's defense has been holding it up. I mean, last week they had a little bit of a setback last weekend. As far as quarterbacks, I don't know who's what, where, how, but I don't see Lawrence playing a game. But hey, that's not our judgment on that. But I'm like Gransberry as far as the quarterback. If Flacco is the one, I'll go with Cleveland. But just on home field advantage alone, I'm gonna go with Cleveland because their defense will, feel like they'll have to step up and win a game for them.
All right. Well, we're in consensus on the home team, regardless of how we look at it. And next up, we got the Bills versus Chiefs. This is, a matchup for the last few years that has been kind of, looking forward to, kind of tit for tat. We expect better play. Bills coming off bye week, right? So see where they are. Chiefs coming off a tough loss to Derek's other good team. And I don't know, the Chiefs at home. And, before this season, the Chiefs at home, you would just look at their schedule and say, okay, that's 8 wins at home, maybe one. You would just be like,
Right.
hope you're playing them on the road because at home it's wrap. But now it's like, I don't know. Honestly, I believe, the bigger issue is the Bills need this game more than anybody. The Chiefs aren't going to have any problems at this point winning their division, absent some major setback. I think they have just enough in them to hang in to win the division regardless. So at this point, the bigger question is, can they defend home? And honestly, I need to look back at this Bills defense stat wise to see what I believe they're capable of doing, because we all know it depends on what Josh Allen you get, right? But I don't have that much trust in Chiefs defense because they couldn't stop Love. I mean, oof.
But
I
they've
mean,
been
I
playing
won't even
good this
say
year, though.
Love. They couldn't stop Green Bay. They weren't punting. They were scoring every drive.
Yeah.
And that's highly concerning, because whether it's run or pass, it was fleeting. So other than Josh playing bad, I don't really know. So I'm gonna give Chiefs because I think they need to set a tone back that they can control home field advantage. So home field to the Chiefs. Coach Pat.
You get the desperate Buffalo Bills having to win this game, and they get the Chiefs that are gonna come off pretty much kind of upset. I mean, by losing the game, their wide receivers are still dropping passes, um, and then you have the Chiefs defense actually trying to step up. But like you said, Love didn't get stopped last weekend. Josh Allen and their different offensive scheme now that they get changed offensive coordinators. Um, I'm going with the Chiefs at home. It says it's a close game. I think it will be a rather close game because you got desperate Bills against a rather upset Chiefs team just to establish their home identity again because they're going to get a home playoff game. So they need to start winning these games at home.
Well, shout out to Miss Kim. She watching and she said she really need KC to win so the people in her house can be at peace for the most part. But here's a different trend. KC is only favored by 1.5. They ain't even get the field goal
Mhm.
favorite for being at
Nope.
home. So that speaks to everybody's thinking the same thing. Like you
Yeah.
can't trust them to win at home right now. And the way they just lost, you know, there's things about beatdowns and blowouts, right? And the loss was neither. The loss was just great football played by Green Bay. Period. On all sides of the ball. And so when you have that happen, that is actually more concerning than a blowout. Because we talk about the throw away the blowout games. Obviously, the Jags threw away their blowout game against us because they haven't lost until this past Monday from the blowout game. They went on a winning streak. So and the Broncos did the same, right? They got blew out really bad by Miami, and then they found a win streak. So what's more concerning is when you're getting beat on all phases. So and that is you're 1.5 favorite at home. That's almost like saying you're not favored when you the defending Super Bowl champs. So
What's funny about this game to me is, not that far removed, these teams were the cream of the crop of the league. They were ascending, and not saying that they had fell off, but it's almost like their trajectory has changed from ascending to kind of either leveling off or almost coming down with inconsistencies. Which one thing, like you just said, one thing that we could kind of chalk up with KC was you can lock in them home games as dubs. Now you just really don't know. And I know you was talking about the Green Bay game, but aside from the Green Bay game, KC's defense has been their best part of their team. They've been playing better than their offense. And so it was really good to see Green Bay come in and script their opening drive and just keep their foot down on them. But we know that one thing we know is Buffalo knows how to play KC. We know that they're not scared of KC. I can definitely see Buffalo coming in here. It's going to be cold, but both of these teams are used to the cold. I see Buffalo coming in and playing very, very well. So I can see the 1.5 point favorite. I'm going to go with KC on this. If I was a betting man, I would pick Buffalo with that 1.5. But yeah, I would. Well, no, I wouldn't. I would pick KC on this. Yeah, that's not. So yeah, but I'm with you guys. We're gonna go home team on this again. I think they'll get enough together. I think the defense will definitely bounce back and play much better than they did against Green Bay. And so with that said, I think they'll find a way to win this game.
Well, that wasn't hard, but here's a tricky one, I should say. It's the Texans versus the Jets. It was announced today that Zach would be back under center this Sunday. It's expected to rain and be cold.
Yep.
And rain games make me think about run game or the lack of run game. And so we need this win. And I said we, but I'm still gonna pick our guys on the road. I just think, one of the things I think about is like I listen to the press conferences, whether we win or lose. And when we win, the team seems to regroup quickly. They're like thankful for the win. We won. They reset. They ready to work. When they lose, they do accountability for their mistakes, or not even necessarily mistakes, but their ability to close, and they move on. I really like that. We haven't seen that in a long time. Usually it's a lot of hangover into the win and from the team, right? There's a lot of hangover of, constantly living in that win. And now it seems to be that we're good with the reset. And I think what, offense will probably take away from this game is there will have to be some huge adjustments because you lost a key part of your offense. Like you said, you can't discount that it's a key part. And then two, that, I talked about this before, there's been a consistency of falling off offensively in the second half. And we got to find a way to stay in scoring positions in the second half. We can't depend on first half points to keep winning games. Now, we did score in this second half, but the thing about that is one came from a turnover, and that's fine because that's your job. Your defense helped you. You got in the red zone with a turnover and you scored. But something is consistently changing. And I understand opposing teams' job is to adjust their defense to the second half from what they see in the first half. But we also should figure out what works and what's not working. So like if they've adjusted in the third, let's find a way to do something different by the fourth.
Adjustment.
Yeah.
Correct.
And so for me, I'm always concerned when it's a heavy rain game because, I used to get excited about rain games because I used to be like, well, we got a really good run game, so you can lighten up a little bit. But we'll see. So I'm still going to pick the Texans, but I'm mainly picking them because I believe that we will have the better quarterback on the field. I do understand Jets have a great defense. I think this is probably a better time of the year for us to play the Jets defense in the sense that, Stroud has seen some tricky things happen for him, right? Especially with a 3 interception game, you had the, Jags defense was aggressive. And I would even say the Broncos defense was aggressive. I mean, there was a dropped interception attempt, during the game. It wasn't like they weren't gunning for it. So I think this is probably a good time in the year for him to see a defense that we know has the corners to rock with your guys and, just over the top help from safety help. Just like we praise on Stingley. This is the whole Stingley sauce thing. And, we're talking about 1A and 1B at this point. Mm-hmm. So I think this is a good time to show the maturity of the season as well. Not just that, you deserve the win, but you go out there and get it. And I don't know if y'all remember this, but when we went to play the Jets, when Watson was here, it was a big game then too. Sam Darnold was playing good at the time as a rookie, but it was, premier. It was in December. It was a good matchup. And the reason I remember it so well is I was actually in Atlanta at the same time, and I had just went to the Celebration Bowl, and I was trying to watch it on my phone in the club. I was in the club literally, and I was trying to watch it on my phone with a headset, and people thought I was really like trying to front like I was watching football, and the dude was just like really getting on my nerves because he's trying to holler at me, and I'm like, don't you see me watching these plays? And he's like, you're not really watching football. And I'm like, yes I am. And I'm like, you're getting on my nerves, you're not getting my number, so can you leave me alone? But anyway, I went on the tangent, back to the game. But my point is, a really good matchup, and I'm hoping for another one just the same. So I just thought about it. I was just upset because I couldn't really enjoy it the way I wanted to until my cousin told him, like, please leave her alone. And if y'all want to know why I was in the club, I was trying to be a team player. The team play was the game. The party was across the street from the stadium, from the game, right? They had an after party for the Celebration Bowl. I didn't want to be a party pooper because we all was in the same Uber. So I was like, yes, I will go to the party. But guess what? I prepared. I had an extra backup power supply and a cord and cable and headsets. So I was prepared to watch the game on my phone, no drama. They could do whatever they want to do at the little lounge party or whatever. I could have cared less about who the DJ was. I paid the admission fee. I didn't complain, nothing. But I did complain when you bothering me because I'm not bothering you. And he went over there to tell my cousin, you know, she not even trying to look up because I didn't want to be here. I wasn't looking to get snatched. I was good. Okay. But so yes, that's why I was in the club watching the game. I was trying to be a team player. Being a team player don't mean I got to do what you do in the club, but I went. Okay. That's what happens when it's football season. That's my meeting in the middle. And he probably was a Leo. Because he didn't understand, leave me alone. Now back to the game. I'm picking the Texans. As of today, I'm going to the game. And that's all I got to say about that. D. Jones.
The Texans, coach. That was a lot. That was a lot.
I was just about to do one thing. Last time we had a rain game. Oh, Lord. We're
gonna let Brandon pick his team, and then we're gonna get back to Oville Walker's comment.
Last time the Texans played a rain game, it was 40-0.
Say, dog. Say, man. First of all, you're wrong because it rained during the Ravens game, which was the first game of the season. So watch your mouth, because I was there.
Okay, my bad.
In my poncho. Bad. So watch your mouth.
Okay. Anyway,
watch your mouth.
Texans.
Watch your mouth. Texans. Watch your mouth.
Texans.
Second of all, I took you with us to the Buffalo game. So watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
I took you with us.
Watch your mouth. Okay. That was a glorious moment for me completing all the stadiums. Don't steal the one highlight we had. And don't you ever compare the team we got right now to the team we took to Buffalo. Because we knew before we got on the plane that team was not going to be competitive. We was hoping it was going to score. But we knew
that was it. It ain't comparable to that Buffalo team either. So come on now.
All right, I'm going Texans.
Now back to your power supply.
Power supply was that was lit.
Okay, guys.
It was
Why we gotta go here? Oville, come on, man.
It was about this big. The thing was about this big, dude.
Hold on,
okay, this is a laptop. But y'all know I talk about going to the games.
I got a big one.
First of all, I talk about going to the games with the proper clear bag, and I always talk about having a backup phone charger. Brandon, first of all, it costs like $50 to park. It costs like $50 to park for a regular game in Vegas. Close. That was the park close. Okay. But that's still a few
But I made
blocks.
it back before the game started.
First of all, that's still a few blocks. So because we paid a higher rate of parking fee, that's the only reason he made it back. But Brandon gets to the gate. We all just like, we're in a group of 7. We just hunting down the street, feeling the vibe, we in Vegas. Brandon gets to the gate, y'all. Kid you not. His backup charger looked like this. Put me on solo, D Jones. His backup charger, guarantee you, it was no smaller.
No, it's not.
It was like, then look, you see the perimeter, like this part. That's how small it was. He just didn't have the edges.
It was thick too.
It was thick, and then it was about the size. It was about the thickness of this.
It
Okay.
was.
And we turn around and we like, bring it back up. Bring Brandon back up here. Put it back up here. We turn around and we like, Brandon's back there arguing with these people who's just trying to do a
I was
simple
not
living.
arguing. I was
Oh,
not. I just
oh, you
asked.
was.
I
Because you
asked
was like,
a
that's a
question.
backup charger.
No, I
It's
did
just
not.
a
No, I
backup
did.
charger.
No, I did not. No, I did
And the
not.
dude
No, I
is
did
like,
not. I didn't argue with the dude.
Oville, stand in,
I
deliver.
did not argue with the dude. I did not argue with the dude.
Now, me being a lawyer and trying to be nice, I asked the
Amazon,
people,
by the way, Gonzalez.
can you check with a manager to see if maybe they can approve this? Knowing good and damn well he shouldn't have had it there. But so it was one of those, and the thing is, Oville told him, don't bring that.
Yeah, he
And
did.
Brandon just determined to bring it. He had to take it back to the car. I wish I could have videoed it, but I was so embarrassed because y'all don't know. I feel embarrassed when I take people to games and they don't follow the rules. Because I'm like, out of all the people, not my people, how you gonna be with the stadium queen and not follow the rules?
Mm.
That's why Brandon ain't been on a trip with us since. No, I'm just playing. But
Oh wow.
She said she let you go Buffalo. She let you. She
well,
took you
well
with
Buffalo
us.
was first.
We
So
took you
then,
with us.
and then Vegas.
Vegas got you banned.
But you know, the rest of the stuff we can't talk about what happened in Vegas. So we're gonna let him make it because y'all, I swear, between Brandon and Oville on the Vegas trip, they about tried to take me out. That's all I'm gonna say. Between the two of them, they tried to take me out. And thank goodness my bestie D Jones was over there. Because that was a trip. That was a trip. But kid you not, Brandon showed up with a power supply the size of a laptop. I didn't even know they sold those, and I got about every type of electronic you could think of. D Jones works in the IT world, and he ain't never sent me a link to buy something that big ever.
What was that? I thought it was a server hard drive. I was like, what kind of,
it did. So if you buy backup things,
oh God.
it looked like it looked like a backup server drive. Wait, and not the drive like those old.
It was gray. It was gray.
It was gray. Not those drives you like.
Nah, it was great. It was great.
It was not those drives you walk around with, like, you know, the little kind you plug in. No. It looked like the kind that in a server room that you slide in the slots.
You got it.
Brandon, where is it now? Where is it now? I promise you, he could have plugged up the whole row phones with that one. That one backup.
It might be in my truck. It might be at work. It might be at work.
Oh, you still using it? Okay.
No, I don't. I don't use as much. I got me a new one.
Oh yeah, he wants y'all to see his new one. Next show, you bring that old one because I want the people to see we're not exaggerating on you, and you know we not.
No, that's why I'm laughing.
So, I mean, I want y'all to have this visual.
I'm not a that this part. I'm not even arguing about that.
I can't with y'all today.
Oh, really?
Oh shoot! We only got one more game. We only got one more game.
We got one more game.
We got one more game. One more game. God. We got to keep our composure. And I
can't with y'all today. Oh my God.
And you know what? You need to blame Oville, and then his story not even out here.
No. No.
Oh man.
I can't.
Whew.
I can't.
Okay.
All right, one more game of the week. Game of the week. Oh. So before we start with game of the week, let's get to game of last week, which was
San Fran versus Eagles, which
Oh,
Eagles, San Fran continued their dominance over the NFC East,
yeah.
and in record fashion, y'all Dallas fans were kind of funny. Now, of course, you've all defended yourselves with it's a division opponent. Those are common things. I think y'all missed the point of my post when I said y'all show word about it, to the extent that whenever someone watches your game, you feel like we're watching you and we're only concerned
Right.
about you, right? First of all, we're watching football because we like football. And second of all, the goal is to want to watch an entertaining game. Then you have those people that you trickle down and call quote unquote your haters. But those people are just miserable people anyway, because their only goal is to say something negative, right? So that's a separate category of people that you shouldn't even give your energy to. And I was just speaking on the facts with my timeline. And outside of screenshotting and giving them all to you, it was more of you acting as if it was your team that was winning. I get it. The Eagles may have did you dirty when you was playing them, and they may have said things. Their fans may have said things. The only problem is until this Sunday comes up, the Eagles beat you. So really talking about what San Fran did, all you had to say was it put you in the right position. And a good example of that is what just happened. The Jags lost, right? It benefits the Texans. You take the accountability that it benefits you, but you don't get all into this tit for tat war. Like we not the team that won. We're not the Bengals. We still the Texans fans. That's all I'm saying. And I'm saying, don't forget the art of good football. This game this week is about who's going to be viewed as the second best team in the NFC. Because we already know that there is no 1A, 1B. There's one and really like 3A, 3B, because they get a gap in between. They tie with themselves at this point.
You gonna put them at 1 and 2. They 1 and 2.
So I'm expecting to see what I said before, which is, the score looks a little different when a team can fight back. And so it did look a little different between you guys in Seattle, and that's a fact. That's actually not an attack on the team. It's just that's what happened. And so we get to see, are the Eagles still digressing, or did they have a bad week? Like y'all had a bad week. And so that's the thing, right? Y'all had a bad week against them, and then y'all was killing it, right? You had a little lump with the loss, to the Cardinals, but overall, my point is you was on the up, blowing out teams, whatever. And so at the end of the day, we'll get to see if that's the case this Sunday. So I'm looking forward to the matchup. Y'all are at home, and your next 4 games, for me, I was thinking 2-2. Personally, I was thinking 2-2. And so in fairness, I was thinking you could go 3-1. And the iffy game for me really is this Sunday. And this is probably one of the first times, other than like with the Texans, I don't really have a pick for y'all yet, because I just don't know what team will get on both sides. I don't know if we'll get the defense that can contain.
Who you picking?
I said I don't know. So D. Jones,
as of Wednesday, I know.
I don't have to though. Right, I'll tell you at the end. Coach Pat,
come on.
Coach Pat, are you blind?
No, I'm not blind. I'm just
in an entanglement.
I'm going with the Eagles in this one. Wow. Yeah, I'm going with the Eagles in this one. Simply because I just think they're going to come back mad. Last time they lost the game, they came back mad. Dallas is at home indeed. And so But I just think it's going to be a very, very close game. But I'm gonna go with the Eagles in this one.
My bad, Miss Kemp. I don't even really. I don't even really mean it that way. I don't even know I be saying that. Maybe it's just the country in me. You know, everything is little when you talk about somebody else because you big. So that may be what it was. You know, like I'm big sis, you know. All right, little sis. D Jones.
Yeah, I think you know how I love division games, and this is one of my favorite division matchups throughout the league. So I'm with you as far as I'm not sure who I'm going to pick on Sunday. As of today, Wednesday, I will make a pick, and my pick today is going to be an emotional pick and pick the Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. But when I really sit down and submit my picks on Sunday, I think more logically, and it could change to the home team. I'm not sure. But as of today, I think this is going to just be a dogfight of a matchup. I think, I'm going to pick Philly just because I ride with Jalen Hurts, like that. And kind of like what Coach said, they do come back from bad losses. And it's one of those things, too. The 49ers had a chip on their shoulder because they felt like they should have been in the Super Bowl last year. Debo has stood, 10 toes down talking about that secondary with Philly and calling them trash other than Slay, and he brought his stick Sunday and he stood on what, as they say it now, as the catchphrase now, he stood on business and whooped them boys. Well, Philly and has that on Dallas. You know what I mean? So they have that same type of energy on Dallas.
It's a division game.
Yeah, there's the division game. I expect to see a dogfight. And today I'm going to pick Philly. So I'm going to go Philly.
Yeah, it's Philly. But I think the only thing, honestly, guys, when we get into these pick'em sometimes, it's really sometimes depends on where you are, right? So like last week, I was in first place and I chose not to pick Philly because I wasn't really worried about sliding to second place because I'm still in first place. Like I explained to y'all, there's always a category I'm first place in. I'm first place on the show. I'm first place for the females. So if I'm in first place, I'm in first place. So I was willing to stick with my guns, even though I knew they were the underdog when I picked the Eagles because I could afford it. I could afford to based on the way I had been picking. And that's kind of, that's kind of the thing now. But it'll be the thing. But right now
you brought up the Cowboys next 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
So the Eagles, the Bills, the Dolphins, the Lions. This is gonna
I felt like, so I'll tell you what my initial thought was. I felt like they had enough to beat the Lions.
Well, we're gonna get to them.
Yeah, but I know. But I'm saying when I said 2-2, I was just saying where my 2-2 was at.
I got you.
When I looked
Lions
at how they
Bills.
played, well, when I looked at in the Bills, those were the 2 I gave them.
The Bills on the road.
I still gave it to them.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew that, and I still gave it to them. I felt like they get past Dallas. I mean, I felt like either way with the Eagles game, right? If they beat the Eagles, they definitely gonna press down on the gas. If they lose to the Eagles, they definitely gonna press down on the gas. So either way, I felt like you get Buffalo either way. And for me, the iffy was really, like I said, this Sunday. And the reason I didn't expect them to beat the Dolphins is because I looked at matchups. And my matchup theory was they struggled initially to contain Metcalf. And had it been a little bit more edge under center to keep finding a way to connect with the setup, they could have really made something work to get the win, right?
Makes sense.
And so for me,
but you got to forget they dropped the pass too. Look,
I know, but that's my point. The defense was struggling to hang in with Metcalf, period. But his athleticism is different from Tyreek's. Metcalf just a big dude. If he gets you and he behind you already, it's over, right? Which we saw.
Yeah.
But Hill, if he beats you off the line, it's over. So Tua gonna find him. And if you notice, if and I think a lot of times, like, we watch AFC way more than probably what Dallas fans do, because a lot of them traditionally only concern themselves with their division games, opponents, and then the game they're playing. And that's fair. But since we see more of the AFC games and things like that, when you look at the usually when Tyreek is wide open like that, you know what's hilarious? Somebody else is too.
Yeah.
They were showing on most of the plays that Tyreek is wide open. Two people are. So Waddle is too. So if you tell me you're gonna take that secondary against that offense, I'm going to still say you definitely don't. In man, it's gonna be a struggle. And if you cover two on it, it's still gonna be a struggle. So I personally just think, matchup wise, I know we're ahead on the schedule, but I'm just saying why I feel that way.
Yeah, well, like with this matchup, you got Brown and you got, Smith, you got those. So it's just
it was earlier.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
When I read
Anyway,
the schedule, we all kind of made noise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. But no, with Brown, you got the Eagles. The thing is I'm curious to see how Dallas will adjust and not be emotional about the game, this week, because they're wanting to win this game with every fiber of their body. And Phillies is like, let me just we go come in here. We got to win this game because we lost last week. Dallas is really wanting to win this game, so that's what I think is going to be a class of two different emotions.
First of all, they always each want to win this game.
Yeah, it's a big game.
I know that, but it's just
to put a bow on it though. Let's be straight. The playoffs start this week for Dallas and for Houston. The playoffs start this week. Every game from here to the end is a playoff game, and it needs to be treated that way. They can't look ahead. They got to look at the team that's in front of them, because looking ahead is they're gonna lose that week in front of them. So playoffs start this week in Texas.
That's fair. It start this week for everybody because we need every win. I don't want to be trying to figure out if we're gonna beat the Colts, because for me, the schedule is bad. The Colts game is the day before my birthday, and my birthday is on the national championship game day. I want to be at NRG. I ain't gonna be trying to fly back from no Indy to support the team on the last game of the season to hope we gonna, make a break. So I'm gonna need some more things together already before that. I mean, I just, because that mess. Honestly, just being real, like, then you overpaying because the flight's gonna be high because everybody trying to come here for the championship. So it's better so it's better to not be there, and then I'm gonna be mad because I'm not gonna overpay just to see the division opponent. That's just reality. So that's kind of my selfish reason of why I need us to be already on it. But all right. That's it for the pick'ems tonight. But I want you guys to think about if you had 3 Christmas football wishes, and that you could add a player to your team, who would you add, regardless if they are retired or not? Like, just going on like what you would want in a player that you think
in their prime.
Yeah, like that you can use for your team now. So I want you to think about that.
3 players?
3 players. Because it's 3 sides of the ball. So I would prefer you pick an offense, defense, and then you can flex your third. Okay. 3 pieces that you would add. And guys, you watching too, you come up with 3 pieces. And we're going to talk about the 3 pieces you would add to your current squad. And it could be a past or present, but when you say if it's somebody from the past, we're going to assume in their prime, because that's why you picking them. Okay. Right. You can't pick someone that's on somebody else's team. And then we've had
clarify.
You got to be one of your team, one of your past or current players.
Well, you can. I take that back. You can pick a current player on another team.
Okay.
because it's a Christmas miracle.
But the past one, what?
But I'm saying when you pick a pass, our mentality is obviously in their prime while you picking them.
Okay.
That's the reason you picking them. And then I want us to have next week, since it's been so much going on with QB, who right now do we see as our top 3 receivers? And you don't have to really rank them. I'm sure everybody gonna say Tyreek, but just your top 3 receivers. We don't need an order. Just what you think is your top 3.
Okay.
All right. And then every week after that, we'll pick a position. I just think we done did so much quarterback convo. I'm gonna skip quarterbacks first. So we're gonna start with that. And we're gonna wish, Tank continued healthy recovery. I hope what's the guy's name? Pickett. I hope his surgery went well to relieve his pressure. I don't like injury. And then, the frightening news that I read today about the tight end for the Panthers. I'm wishing Hayden Hurst. I'm wishing him a great recovery as well. And then to high school football. My nephew's playing this weekend to try to get to state. They win this weekend, they get to state. It's the semifinals. So wishing anyone that has a kid still playing, trying to get to state, wishing you well this weekend. Unless you on South Lake Carroll, then I can't wish you well. I just, do what you got to do, but I can't wish you well. So I'll be heading to that again. I don't think people really understand how busy my November through December is. Like, if you're unfamiliar, high school football is 10 weeks of football and 6 weeks of playoffs. So they play a full dang near NFL schedule. And my nephew play in Dallas or sometimes San Antonio or Waco or whatever, but not Houston. So I have to get there every weekend. And then if we have a home game, which we had 3 weeks in a row, get back and go to the home game. So when I say I don't have time to play, I really be meaning that. It don't be a joke. So I don't really like small talk. I don't like dumb stuff. I don't like Leos, but that's a different story. But the point is, I really like the sport and I love the sport. And it's not, I don't take it lightly. So I wish and thank you, anybody who watches us all the way to the end and enjoys our show. Just know I put my heart into it. I care about it. Everybody on the show, I thank you, D Jones, Coach Pat, because you give up your time to chat with me. You guys work all day. Brandon will shice me if he can go get paid on the court or the field. But I mean, what can I do? I'm not gonna pay him. This not OnlyFans. So if he go where he get a check, I'm gonna let him do it because he big sexy. And we thank you, big sexy. So make sure y'all do your homework. Ryan wants me to wish Summer Creek good luck. So good luck to Summer Creek this weekend. Play well and safe travels to Waco. And so with that, I want to thank everybody again for joining us tonight. Coach, tell the people where they can find you and help you stay on track with the right kind of backup power supplies.
Coach B Pat on Twitter and Instagram.
D Jones.
You find me on Twitter and TikTok, that boy D Jones, on Instagram, that boy D.Jones. Be easy.
Now I'm gonna drop a little side note before we leave, because Oville just mentioned about begging for the show in the off season. I will forewarn you, there will be a significant change because obviously the show had already started before I passed the NFL agent exam. I probably won't continue. I will probably become a moderator, but I will not be picking games because I have to move away from.
We talk about that later.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that later.
It's such a hard spot. It's
tell people where to find you, Gransberry.
The Gransberry.
Right,
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and my website and TikTok. It's the same everywhere. So that's it. And thanks for joining us. Y'all have a good night. I love y'all, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.